Hello everyone. So today we will start a new chapter, that is chapter number 15, Science and Natural Phenomena. Okay. So since this chapter is quite a vast one, so we will make three parts of this chapter. In the first part, you will be having static electricity, two methods of charging object. Okay. The second part will be electroscope, gold leaf electroscope and the experiments. Then you have in the third part we will do atmospheric electricity along with the earthquake. So let's start with the first part, that is static electricity. So we all have electricity at home, isn't it? Electricity is supplied to our homes from different power stations through electric wires. Now in electricity or in electric current, actually there are some flow of charges, or when the charges are in motion, that flow of charge, or when the charges are in motion, that electricity is called as current electricity. And when the charges they are not in motion or when they are in rest, they are called as static electricity. Okay. Now there are two kinds of charges through which electricity can be transmitted. Two charges can be a positive one as well as a negative one. Okay. Suppose if you take a glass rod, let me show you one example. Suppose this is a glass rod. Okay. This is a glass rod. This glass rod is having no charge. Okay. Zero charge, it has no charge. Now if I rub this glass rod with a silk cloth, say suppose this is a silk cloth. Okay. And this silk cloth is having positive charges. Okay. It is having positive charges. Now when I will rub this glass rod with this silk cloth, this is a silk cloth. Now this uncharged glass rod, when it will be rubbed with the charged silk cloth, it will acquire positive charge. Okay. It will acquire positive charge. Now the positive charge which are present inside the silk cloth, they are transmitted to the glass rod. Now after it has transmitted all the positive charges to the glass rod, it became negative charge. Okay. It became negative charge. It became deficit of positive charges. So it became negative charge. Similarly, if you take an ebonite rod, okay, say suppose this is an ebonite rod. Ebonite rod having no charge, and if you take one wool cloth, okay, if you take one wool cloth is having negative charge. Okay, wool cloth is having negative charge. Now when you will rub the ebonite rod against the wool cloth, the negative charges which are present in the wool cloth, it will be transmitted to the ebonite rod. Okay, it will be transmitted to the ebonite rod, and then the wool cloth will be deficit of negative charges, that is the wool cloth will be positively charged. Okay. Now according to the law of electrostatic attraction, if two bodies, say if I take two bodies A and B, if the object A is having positive charge and if the object B is also having positive charge, since both the charges are equal, so they will repel each other. Okay, they will move away from each other. Okay, they will move away from each other. And if an object, say A, is positive and B is negative, then what will happen? It will attract each other. Okay, it will attract. It will not move farther from each other, but it will attract each other. Again, say if I take an object A having negative, B is also having negative charge, it will repel. It will repel each other. Again, say suppose if I take say A as negative and say B as positive, then it will attract each other. Okay, it will attract. So this was the law of electrostatic attraction. Okay. Now how charges originated? Okay. First of all, we all heard about atoms. Elements are made up of atoms. Now according to the structure of atoms, say suppose this is the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus, and around the nucleus you have some circular structure which are called as orbits. These are called as orbits, and you have some circular structures, or you can say some small charged bodies which are rotating around the nucleus. These are called as electrons. Nucleus is neutral. It has neutrons and protons. Okay, neutrons are having no charge, but protons, they are positively charged. Electrons, which is revolving around the nucleus, they are having negative charge. Okay, so this is the complete structure of atom. Okay, this is the complete structure of atom. Now in an atom there will be equal number of electrons as well as equal number of protons. Now positive, negative, they will cancel each other, and as a whole the atom will be neutral. Okay. Now methods of charging objects. How we will charge different objects with the help of charged bodies. First of all, charging by friction. Just now I have discussed that if I take one ebonite rod, and if I rub this ebonite rod with an wool cloth, the wool cloth will transfer its negative charge to the ebonite rod. Again, the ebonite rod will be negatively charged, but since the wool cloth has donated the negative charges, so it will be positive. So this is an example of charging by friction. Okay. Similarly, in case of glass rod, if we rub the glass rod with the help of silk cloth, then what will happen? The electrons from the silk cloth will be transferred to the glass rod. Glass rod will become positively charged and the silk rod will become negatively charged. Okay. Now you have in the next page you have charging by conduction. Okay, so we all know that what are conductors. Conductors are those substances which allow the electricity to pass through it. Okay, so charging by conduction is a process in which a conductor gets charged by contact with a charged object. Okay, so take one example, say in activity 15.5. We have taken one metal sphere and one ebonite rod. We have rubbed the ebonite rod with the help of wool. So it became negatively charged. Now when I will rub this ebonite rod with an uncharged metal sphere, it will become negatively charged. Means what? When the metal sphere is brought in contact with the negatively charged rod, some of the electrons or excess of the electrons from the rod, it moved to the sphere. Thus the sphere becomes negatively charged. It is called as charging by conduction. Charging by induction means what? Charging an object by bringing another charged body closer to each other but not actually touching it is called as induction. Just like in conduction, we have touched the conductor, charged body with another object, but here in case of induction, we will not touch the object. The object acquires a charge that is opposite to that of the charging object. So this was all about the methods of charging object. Okay, this was the first part, and the next part I will be starting electroscope. Okay.